Hi, everyone. This is Anna, one of your consumer technology specialists at Mid-Continent Public Library. Today, we are going to talk about search engines. So the first thing I think we should talk about is what is the difference between a web browser and a search engine? A search engine is a website, and it's made for the purpose of retrieving information from the internet. A web browser is the software that displays websites. So a search engine is a website that helps people find information, and it does this by finding other web pages. I think a lot of the confusion between search engines and web browsers is because often when you open a web browser for the first time, it is set to bring up a search engine page. The other reason is probably because Google started out as just a search engine, just a website, but now they also have a web browser called Chrome. So they're two separate things, but they can be used together. Some popular search engines, well-known search engines, include Bing, Google, and Yahoo. Some lesser known but still fairly popular search engines are Dogpile and DuckDuckGo. And we're going to see in a minute why it's worth trying out multiple search engines, because you will start to see that they bring up different results. And the next thing we're going to do is talk about how to search. We're going to start on google.com. This page is probably pretty familiar to you if you use the internet. The first thing to know is that all search engines have a search box. And this is where you can enter a question or keywords to start your search. So you just type your text in the box, and then you either press enter on your keyboard or you use your cursor to click on the spyglass icon. If you're on a phone browser, you would just use your finger and tap. You actually can also perform a search by typing in the URL bar, which is in the menu of the web browser. So another reason why it could be kind of confusing. You can search from the search box on the website, or you can search from the URL bar in your web browser. These used to be two distinct fields that had distinct functions and were completely separate, but now you can use both of them to search the internet. However, you cannot use both of them to go directly to a web page. So if you type a URL in the search box on a search engine, you're going to end up with a search result list rather than being taken directly to the website. Probably the site you're looking for will be the first or one of the first results, but it's still an extra step to get you where you're trying to go. On the flip side of that, if you're typing a URL for a specific site in the top box, it's essential that the URL is typed including the ending. And what I mean by that is the .com or .edu. Otherwise, that URL bar is going to treat the text as search terms. Also, you do not need to type the www at the beginning of a URL. You used to need to, but now it's pretty much understood by every web browser, so you can just omit that part and start typing the rest of the URL. Now let's talk about result lists. Do you see that this one here says add? That means that someone or some company has paid to put that result at the top of the list because they know that most people don't look past the first page of search results. So that's just something to be aware of, and that's also a reason why you might see the same website twice in a row, or it'll be at the top and then it'll be a couple of results down as well. Because the first one is the paid for ad listing it at the top. And then the second one is its actual place in the results list. So that's just something to be aware of. When you do your search, you're going to get a results list that is going to show websites that are somehow related to your search terms. I want to note that this does not mean that the results you were intending to look for will always be the results that you find. For example, if we do a simple search for the word pinto, we could get results about the pinto bean, the type of car, or even horses. These are all vastly different topics, but the same search term was broad enough that it encompassed all of them. We just used the Google search engine, but now I'm going to open up DuckDuckGo. And this is another search engine. I'm going to search for the same word, so I'm going to search for pinto so we can compare the results. The results page looks fairly similar. So I can see a title, and there's a preview of the text that's on the page, plus the URL for that page. Seeing the URL is helpful because it can help us get an idea of who owns the site or what the site is. Like here, I can see it's Merriam-Webster, so that's going to be a dictionary. So without even clicking to open the page, I already have an idea of what I'm going to find on that page or when I go there. We should also note that these results are not the same as the ones on Google. So let me switch back over and we can take a look. First, we have this large dictionary result. And then I've got a Wikipedia page for the pinto car, and then a business website. Merriam-Webster is all the way down here. So that just goes to show that it can be good to use multiple search engines because you may find different information that better fits your need than you would using just one search engine. Now let's talk about refining your search. There are a few things that I can do to refine or better define my searches. The first one is you can tell the search not to show you results for something. So we're going to use the pinto example again, but this time after the word pinto, I'll add a space and then I'm going to add a dash or a minus sign and then the word horse with no space in between. This should filter out any results that have to do with the pinto horse. So see, it definitely changed my results. I can also use Boolean operators to help focus my search. These are words like and or, and they do need to be typed in all caps in order to be treated as a Boolean search. And they can help connect or disconnect my search terms. So if I search for pinto and car, now my results are only going to be for the Ford Pinto car. And tells the search that you want all of the terms to be included in your results. Or is going to expand your results because it's going to show you all the results for one search term and the other. So all the search results that come up for pinto, as well as all the search results that come up for car. That's going to be a ton. So in this case, we don't want to do that. Now, if we're not getting the results that we'd hope for, it may be because of the words that we chose. You may need to add or subtract words, or you may need to use completely different words. So for example, if you want to know how to find the accessibility settings on your phone and you search for accessibility and phone, you're probably not going to end up with instructions for your exact model of phone. But if you add iPhone 12 to your search terms, then you even get YouTube videos showing you how to find those settings. And then on the other hand, if you search for something too specific, you might not get what you want either. So, for example, searching for how do I send a Facebook message with my purple iPhone 12 when I'm not connected to Wi-Fi? This is too many words. Think about what's really important in that sentence. The color of my phone, not important. The exact model of my phone, also not important. It's not even whether you're connected to Wi-Fi, because you would still be theoretically connected to your data plan. What you're really asking here is, how do I send a message on Facebook? So instead of that long sentence, you could just search send a Facebook message. And see here, our first result is steps to do this. And it even tells you that these steps are for a mobile browser. So if we were wanting to do it from the app, we could just add the word app to the end of our search. And this is going to give us instructions to send a message using the app. So when you're typing in your search terms, you've probably noticed that as you start typing, you get kind of a drop down of text that appears, and it changes as you continue typing. These are suggestions based on things that other people have previously searched for using the same search terms. So see, when I type send a, I'm getting lots of options, but as I keep typing, the options change to match what I've already typed, and it uses all of that to predict what my search request will be. So if I see one that I like, I can go ahead and click on it, and that will just go straight to the search. Sometimes if you click on it, it doesn't automatically search, but it does put that whole thing in the search box. Then you would just want to press enter on your keyboard or use your mouse and cursor to click the spyglass in order to complete that search. These can be really good to look at, especially if you're not quite sure what words to use to do a successful search. This way you can see what other people have already tried, and it's going to be what a lot of people have already tried. Something else you can try when you're doing a search is to use quotation marks around specific phrases that you want to search. For example, if I just search for travel London, the search engine is going to treat both words as keywords. They may give you results where those keywords are listed together, but they're also going to treat them as two separate keywords. Adding the quotation marks will tell the search engine to search for the exact phrase travel London. See, when I did that, we have different results. So that may be a way to try to kind of, especially if you feel like you're not quite getting the very specific results that you're looking for, you may want to try using the quotation marks. There is also sometimes when you search underneath the search result, it will say that the search omitted the word from your search terms. And then it'll say must include. You can usually click on that. And so that kind of also tells it that you definitely want all of the words that it may or may not have included. and it'll tell you what word it is. A few other tricks you can try are to put the word define before a word in order to get relevant dictionary results. I've actually just put the word and then define, so it doesn't really matter which order you put the terms in for this. You're going to get the same type of results. So here I'll also show you putting define at the end of the search. And we can see that the top results are still the same. The first page looks pretty much the same. You can also do a similar search using the word weather. And then you can use a zip code, or you can use a city, but the zip code will give you current weather information and forecast information for that specific zip code, rather than if we just put in Kansas City, it's probably going to be the weather that's being officially collected from around the airport. Whereas if we're down on the south side of town, we could have completely different weather. You can also have a search engine do a search on a specific website by using this site : and then the URL. For example, I could do a search. I could say Blu-ray player and then site target.com. And then I can see that all of the results are from target.com. You can also use a similar search tactic to find similar websites using the term you would put in related : and then the URL. So I can put something in like related : visitkc.com. I know that this is a tourism website for Kansas City, and so the related websites are going to also be similar in topic. So the results give me sites where I can find things to do in Kansas City. It looks like there is a Visit Missouri site here as well. So that's just another option if you're looking for similar content. As you can see, there are all sorts of things you can do to make a search engine work better for you. I hope that these tips and tricks have been helpful and have given you something new to try. That's it for today's video. If you liked it, make sure you let us know by following our MCPL 360 page on Facebook and our MCPL MO channel on YouTube. We premiere new videos every Wednesday and Friday at 1 p.m. And if you missed the live event, you can always find all of our videos on YouTube on one of our many technology-related playlists on our YouTube channel. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you again next time.